Your teacher today is Dr. Bosa, Science. Dr. Bosa is a teacher at the Science Foundation College, the best school that teaches sciences. Today, we are going to study Geography, UACE 250, Paper 2, Agricultural Practices in the World. Lesson 1 of 7. Agriculture is the planting of crops and rearing of animals. Agriculture provides food and raw materials for clothing, shelter, and medicine. Types of agricultural practices include simple subsistence farming, small holding farming, large-scale farming, irrigation farming, specialized farming. Simple subsistence farming. It is a form of farming in which nearly all the crops or livestock raised are used to maintain the farmers and farmers' family, leaving little, if any, surplus for sale or trade. Forms of subsistence farming include shifting cultivation, rotational bush fallowing, nomadic pastoralism. Shifting cultivation is a form of traditional subsistence cultivation carried out mainly in tropical areas. It involves clearing of small pieces of land in the bush or forests using simple tools and burning, after which crops are grown for 1 or 2 seasons. When land loses fertility, the plot is abandoned and another is cleared through the same procedure. The predominantly grown crops are beans, maize, millet, yam, vegetable, and so on. It is common in backward communities where vast land still exists. For example, Democratic Republic of Congo, Brazil, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and so on. Characteristics of shifting cultivation. Farm plots are cleared through cutting and burning of bushes or trees. Plots are small and highly scattered. Production is for home consumption. Simple tools such as machetes, digging sticks are used in clearing land. It is practiced in regions of low and sparse population. Farm output is supplemented by fruit gathering and hunting of animals. Annual crops such as beans, maize, millet, yams, vegetable are grown and no cash crops. No scientific methods of farming are applied. For example, spraying. Little attention is given to crops in the field until they are ready for harvesting. Once the land productivity declines, the plots are abandoned and vacant ones are cleared. Advantage of shifting cultivation. Ensures cultivation of fertile land. Limits accumulation of pests and diseases on cultivable land. Minimizes soil erosion. Clearing of land is often done by bush burning, which adds fertility to the soil. Bush burning kills pests and disease-causing organisms. Intercropping increases land yield and maintains soil fertility. It is cheap because simple tools are used. Abandoned plots are allowed to regain fertility. It is less time consuming, thus allows the farmer to carry out other activities such as hunting and fruit gathering. Disadvantages of shift cultivation: requires vast land, leads to deforestation and land degradation, burning destroys soil structure and kills living organisms in the soil. Small yields leads to low farmers' income, hinders development of infrastructures such as roads, schools, health facilities, and so on. Cannot support big population. Absence of individual ownership of land limits credit facilitation. No research is carried out to boost plant yields. Factors for persistence of shifting cultivation: existence of vast tracts of land for farming and for cultivation, limited market for abundant agricultural commodities in remote areas such as of Brazil, unreliable transport facilities in remote areas to market products from shifting cultivation, limited education for better farming practices in remote areas, limited capital to engage in commercial farming, the communal land tenure system that discourages large-scale farming, limited skilled labor to engage in commercial farming in remote areas, poor technology used in remote areas, steep relief in some areas that cannot support large-scale farming. Declining soil fertility leads to abandonment of used plots of land. Natural hazards like floods, droughts destroy crops, forcing farmers to shift to other plots of land. The system is flexible because it allows growing a number of annual crops to feed the family. Cultural orientation to shift cultivation. Limited government intervention. Factors for decrease of shift cultivation in tropical Africa: increase in population leading to decrease in available land per person, increase in demand for food to meet the needs of the growing population, introduction of perennial crops such as coffee, cocoa, and so on. Education of farmers against shift cultivation. Introduction of plantation farming to grow cash crops like tea and sugarcane. The introduction of money economy that requires surplus production. Government policy of protecting forests and game reserves. Accessibility of funds for commercial farming. introduction of fertilizers and pesticides, bush fallowing. It is a type of farming where exhausted land is left to rest, fallow, to regain fertility, and then recultivated. It is common in low-populated countries such as tropical countries like northern Nigeria, Zambia, Senegal, Ethiopia, Southeast Asia, and so on. Characteristics of rotation, bush fallowing. A piece of land is used when crop yield declines. It is left to fallow in order to regain fertility before used again. Farming is based on permanent and semi-permanent settlement. Elementary tools are used in clearing land, such as hoe, panga, and so on. Both food and cash crops are grown, such as maize, tobacco, vegetables, and so on. Food production is mainly for consumption. Family labor is employed. Farming depends on natural conditions. Nomadic pastoralism is another type of small-scale farming. It is a practice of grazing large herds of livestock on natural pastures, which involves large-scale movement of people and their livestock in search of water and pasture. It is common in the Sahel region, which is an area south of the Sahara but north of the Savannah region of Africa, stretching from West Africa around Senegal to the Horn of Africa. It passes through Senegal, Mali, northern Nigeria, Chad, Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Examples of nomads include the Fulani of West Africa, the Nua of Sudan and Ethiopia, the Turkana of northern Kenya, the Maasai of East Africa, the Karamojong of Uganda. Characteristic features of nomadic pastoralism. It occupies areas of low and unreliable rainfall. The most valuable animal is cattle, although sheep, goat are also kept. Traditional breeds yield low quantity and low quality of beef and milk. Livestock is kept for subsistence purpose. Livestock depend on natural pasture. Large flocks of animals are kept for prestige. Communal grazing is carried out. The animals provide basic food from milk and blood. Overstocking leads to overgrazing. Factors that have favored nomadic pastoralism in the Sahel region of Africa. The harsh climate, which is semi arid with unreliable rainfall, poor quality of vegetation cover, a large expanse of land with limited population leaves a large area of land where migrations can take place. Cultural tendency of nomadism. It is a source of livelihood. Poor transport facilities from the centers of modernity. Poor soils which cannot support other forms of farming. The communal land tenure system does not restrict mobility. Existence of pests and diseases that promotes mobility to avoid them. Poor government policies, for example, failure to provide water in these areas. Poor local breeds with low yields but can resist pests and diseases. Low level of education, hostility of some tribes that discourage development projects in the region. Plain relief favor mobility. Limited capital to support modern farming. Poor storage facilities for animal products. Problems facing nomadic pastoralism: shortage of water, shortage of pasture, poor breed animals, pests and diseases, attack from wild animal, cattle rustling, movement of long distances in search of water and pasture. Measures being taken to solve problems facing nomadic pastoralism. Construction of water dams to provide water to the animals. Introduction of crossbreeding to improve cattle breeds. Planting of fodder crops and grasses to supplement natural pasture. Introduction of cattle ranching schemes to regulate the number of cattle population. Use of processed animal feeds. Improvement of communication networks enable marketing of animal products. Setting up of milk collection centers with cooling facilities to encourage commercialization of livestock rearing. Carrying out regular pests and disease control. Provision of security to minimize cattle rustling. Introduction of free education to break up traditional barriers and practices. Setting up quarantines to restrict movement of sick and infected animals. Availing services of extension workers to treat sick animals. Carrying out research to improve on cattle breeds. Importance of nomadic pastoralism. They use land that would otherwise be idle. Provides milk, beef, hides for processing industries. Creates employment through processing industries. Selling of beef and milk provide income to the pastoralists. Diversify economy. Dung is used as a building material. Smoking of dung provides heat and scare away pests and vectors. Pastoralists provide a market to food growers. It is a source of government revenue.